Hello and welcome. I hope your summer is going well. This is the second quarter review for Castle Rock PEP. I'll go ahead and begin to share my screen, and you should also have access to the second quarter review. It is getting a little bit longer because the second quarter review each year does include a fee benchmark report. So, through the table of contents, we'll go through the contacts. You can see contribution limits, updates, water cooler wisdom, which my apologies already up front. I was like a dog on a bone regarding student loan debt. My apologies. Investment review, the fee benchmark reports that I mentioned. So regarding the contacts, you've known these before regarding Slavic, my firm, and the American Trust Company for custody. Wanted to review the contribution limits. We're halfway through the year. How you doing on those contribution limits? Are you contributing enough to your retirement plan? And then for updates, of course, this Friday we have our cattle drive coming up in Castle Rock. So the Longhorn cattle are go through the middle of town, and it's always just a fun event. So hopefully you'll be there. Um, also, Slavic is working with a company called Payroll Integrations for outsourcing the contribution processing. If you're interested in that, if you don't have that set up, please send me an email. Let's get you set up if you're interested. Also, on the community page, if you have one-on-one questions you want to ask, how much should you save? What should you invest in? Even other topics, you'll see a list of topics on there that I'm happy to discuss with you. But please schedule time. And then I was super excited to be featured in the City Lifestyle magazine for April. They wrote a great article regarding the how I got started at Castle Rock PEP and just a nice background on the company. So excited about that. Water cooler wisdom. Again, my apologies. The student loan debt issue, right? So they're talking about, 1 million to 2 million Americans falling into default each month, starting this month, July, and then the garnishment of their wages at 15% starting also this month. So I just feel for every American that's going to be impacted by this. So they're looking at approximately 5.8 million being impacted and possibly another 4 million after that. So um, hopefully it's not you, and hopefully it's not anybody that you know. Regarding the investment review, all the investments are doing really well. You can see when you review the investments, these are the target date funds showing the years for the default. You find the year closest to your birth date, and that's the default on the investment based upon the glide path. So when you're reviewing the investments themselves, you'll see the performance and then the ranking versus their peers in the parentheses. So for example, that Fidelity 500 index fund, 1-year return 15.15, ranking in the top 26th percentile. So we want to stay on the top 50%, generally speaking. There's only one fund I am concerned about, and I do have a slide on that particularly. It's the Emerging Market Fund. Now, that is a tough peer group with, Russia invading Ukraine and then the tariff, trade wars, and everything else going on. But, and it's only underperformed in the last 6 months to 9 months, and it does have a gold rating from Morningstar. However, with that all being said, it's high on my my list of things to review. There's an investment I'm very interested in the emerging market space. It is also actively managed. But I'm going to see if it's available on the platform. Before making any changes, I'll let you know if that change is going to be made. Moving on, fee benchmark reports. This is the big part of the second quarter review. This happens every year where we benchmark the reports. So I'm going to go through the pricing. I'll show you that's included. Then, because every employer is a different size, so you have different asset size, different number of employees. And a lot of the pricing is based upon the plan size as far as dollars and number of employees. So I just put together two benchmarks, one with 10 employees and 300,000 as plan assets, and one with 150 employees and 3 million of plan assets. And so if you want a benchmark report for your company specifically, just let me know. It's easy enough to plug that in and provide that report to you. So this is the pricing. It's on our homepage. And the what you'll see, there is a small difference on the benchmark reports that we're going to look at. The mutual fund expense ratios that are listed here We assume everybody stays in the default, the Vanguard Target Retirement Funds at 0.08. And so that expense is not shown on our homepage in the pricing. So when we look at the reports, it is included. So for a small employer, 10 participants, 300,000 in assets, all in total cost 2,825. So if assuming everybody stays in the Vanguard Target Retirement Funds, that expense is 240. Castle Rock investment management fee, 600, and Slavic's record keeping administration fee for the 10 employees, 1,985. So it's well below the median for the marketplace. Now, I included information on the database that this is taken from, and you could see it's as of June 18th, 2025. And you could also see the number of peers that it in the comparison group. So for advisors, almost 20,000 advisors in this comparison group, and number of record keepers, administrators, 355. So really large comparison group there. So you know it's a really good benchmark report to say, oh, how are the fees for Castle Rock PEP versus if I was to go have a 401k plan directly outside. And that's the scalability. That's the great part about being in a pooled employer plan, the reduced fees and expenses altogether. So let's look at a large employer. Let's say 150 participants. Remember, there's a per participant fee. It's lower when you have more, but it's a per participant fee. And let's say you have 3 million in assets. Okay. Total all-in cost 18,750. If you went out and had just a regular retirement plan, just directly, those fees would be about 40,000. So great savings there too. Savings, of course, on the investment, savings on Castle Rock's investment advisory fee. Because the per participant fee with Slavic 401k, a little bit of savings there, still a little bit of savings with the per participant fee, but all in goodness, that's, a grand savings, well over $20,000, less than half the price, and having an individual 401k, but you still get all the benefits. You still control the plan provisions, and you get the scalability and reduce your fiduciary liability. So hopefully, I hope you appreciate just how great being part of a pooled employer plan is. In the appendix, I've provided what the government would prefer you to look at for standardized performance disclosures. I find them pretty boring, but if you want to look at those, it's included. The investment policy statement, credentials, and the code of ethics. So I'm just going to slide down to that now and show you regarding the code of ethics. This is as being a fiduciary to you and being required to put your interests first. Is to act with honesty, integrity, and avoid conflicts of interest, real or perceived. And that's kind of where it stops, right? I mean, that's where it all is. Like you come first, always, right? So I want to thank you for your time, thank you for your trust, thank you for your business. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer. Please schedule a one-on-one with me if you want some individual investment advice. Again, thank you for your time.